Everybody, this is Dawn. I'm an instructional coach with Glenwood Elementary School, and I'm the headwind trainer for the elementary schools. Just wanted to share out to you today. I know there's been a lot of questions on how to use Gradebook, so I'm going to do a quick tutorial on Gradebook. Then I will be offering a question answer session that you guys can jump on and ask me questions after watching this video. So first and foremost, I want to thank Christy Murphy. She is my best buddy and partner in crime for very many years, but I am an instructional coach and do not have an Infinite Campus Gradebook, so she is kindly enough to let us use hers so that I can do this training video for you. All right, so we come into Infinite Campus and we're going to come to our waffle. And of course, Gradebook is instruction, so it's on the instructional side. So we're going to hit instruction. We're going to come over here and we are going to find Gradebook. So we're going to click Gradebook. Try it again. And once we're in here, the very first thing you're going to need to do is set up your categories. So the district doesn't set these up for us, but they do have recommendations. And I agree with their recommendations. So we're going to come right here to settings. And then we're going to come right here to categories. And so I am going to come down to the corner and I need to add those categories. So we're going to hit add. Only going to add two categories. The first one is assignments and the second one is assessments. Keep it simple, right? It's always the best policy. So I'm going to do assignments and I am going to hit save. I clicked all my classes that I teach. So she teaches different sections. They're all there. I clicked all of them. So I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to hit add. And now I'm going to do assessments. Okay, and then again, she has different sections that she teaches. They do different classes at Cook. So I'm going to click all, and I'm going to click all of her sections, and then I'm going to hit save. That's it. Our categories are now set up, and they are ready to go. So we're going to close this out. We do not need that anymore. I'm going to close my settings. I also don't need it. That's the only setting that I need to set up ahead of time. So now I just want to kind of go over the understanding of our standards, because this is all standards-based grading, and our Infinite Campus Gradebook is all standards-based as well. So when we go into this, as you can see, there's going to be a ton of standards to choose from, right? So I just want to give you kind of an overview of those standards. So we have these children's standards here, these mini standards. These standards all roll up to a parent standard. And then that parent standard shows up on the report card under literature, the grandfather. That's the only thing that's going to show for literature. It's not going to show all these little baby things or children. And then, of course, the overall one, the patriotic one, also will show up, the overall reading. So it's going to take your literature, your information, your writing, and those are all going to roll up and give an overall reading grade. Now, here's the trick. For it to roll up and work beautiful so that when it comes to report card time, all you are doing is hitting post. That's all I ever did was hit post, and it would roll up and it would save me hours of work when it came to report card time. To get that to happen, I have to have 3 grades in a standard. So a lot of times when I was in reading, what I would do is I would look at my children's standard here under literature, and I knew I was teaching literature, and I would see the one that I was teaching the most. And that would be my trick. I would put all of my grades in that most. If there was a couple that I was going to be teaching in that corner, then I would pick those 2. I do not have to have a grade in every little child's standard. I do have to have 3 grades in at least one standard for it to roll up. And I cannot have that in multiple. So I can't have a grade in 5.1 and a grade in 5.2 and a grade in 5.3 and have it rolled up. No, I have to have the grades in 5.3, 3 of them. Then it will roll up. I can even just have one standard. It doesn't have to be more than one standard. It just has to be 3 in one child standard. If that makes any sense. So I'm looking at 5th grade. That just happens to be here. And in 5th grade, I know in 4th grade, there's 2 that I used a lot. One was describing in depth the character in the setting. That was definitely the beginning of the 4th grade that we did a lot of that. And then another one that I used quite a bit in 4th grade, especially the beginning of the year, was determining the meaning of words and phrases. So those were two that I would put a lot. If anything even came close to those two, I'm writing a summary. It includes the characters. It's going under this one right here. So that is my little trick and tip. I'm not saying you have to do it that way. If you're a stickler and you want them to be in the right standards, just remember that if I don't have 3 grades, it's not going to roll up. Not a big deal because you can post grades, but I just wanted to kind of make that clear. So that's my standards talk. The next thing I always say is look, right? Look at the report card and know before I even start posting grades, what is going to show up on that report card? Because many people make that mistake and think everything. It's not. So you can see it's the patriotic and the grandfathers. These different topics. Now you can't just post grades in there. It does have to go under a standard. So again, that's where I just kind of fiddle around a little bit. So let's take a look at all of that and what all of that means. So we're going to come over here. I'm already in Gradebook and I'm already into where I'm going to post the grades. Basically start at the top of the screen and work your way down. So I always check my quarter, especially when it gets to that point where we're close to the 2nd quarter, because grades will end and then the next quarter begins. It's automatically going to go to quarter 2, but a lot of times I'm still catching up with my grading. Believe it or not, I know teachers never, we're always on top of all that grading, right? So I'm catching up on my grading that 1 week that they overlap. So a lot of times I want the grade to go into quarter 1. So you got to be careful that it's the correct quarter, then the correct section, right? If I have more than one section, I want to make sure I'm in the right section. So we're going to pretend today it's my language arts class. I'm putting a language arts grade in. Here's where I also can put in my progress report grades here as well. But today we're just talking about Gradebook and not posting grades. So here they all are. So this is what I was talking about. There's tons of standards. So I'm just going to focus in on literature right now because we talked about that. And we're in 4th grade. And I just said in 4th grade, the beginning of the year, I know we do a lot with describing in depth the character setting. So let's pretend we did an activity. They wrote me a paragraph about the character traits of the main character of the book. So we're going to click there. So now I am in the right child standard. And again, eventually I'm going to have 3, right? But this is just 1. So now I want to add a grade. So I went across the top. I have all of the right information. I come to the next level. I need to add. So that's the first one right here. Add grade. So now it pops up. And again, I'm just doing that same philosophy. I'm working from the top and I'm working from the bottom. Now, usually, yes, everything in red means I need to enter. However, this is the same program that's used for middle school and high school. So anything that's in the red and gray is not necessarily anything that you need to enter. So it's a little tricky. So we do not need to give assignment dates and due dates in this gray section here. That is something more for middle school and high school and elementary school. We don't need it. So it's the assignment name, and I said it was character traits paragraph. So here I give more of a description, but you do need to have an abbreviation. So here's my trick. If you're using ReadyGen, my trick was always the unit, the module, the lesson. So it's unit 1, module A, lesson 2, right? That's my abbreviation. In ReadyGen, same thing. The unit, I'm going to be the lesson, right? I would put like unit 1 dash lesson 14. So that's what I do for my abbreviation and all that. I don't fill out draft, assignment defaults, none of that. I come down, here's where that categories is that we had to set up. So assessment or assignment, this is an assignment, so I'm going to click the assignment. Now the next section is our standards. Now sometimes we do one assignment, but it has many standards. Just for the sake of it, on this one, actually, this one I'm just going to do the 1 standard, and I'm going to show you how I would do this. Let's hide that. So the standard is correct. It's only 1 standard, so that's all I'm going to do. Now, all of this across the bottom does many things. The 2 things that you're going to use the most is your score and your save and your close. I'm not going to even go over the other ones. Obviously, if you wanted to delete it, you're going to use that, but score, save, close. So on this case scenario, I'm going to show you my favorite. So I always put my kids in numbers alphabetically, right? So then I would just take my numbers the first couple weeks of school before I knew their numbers well and they knew their numbers well. Everything was name and number, put your name and your number. And then I would just put them in order for number order of when I go to grade, and you're going to see why. So Infinite Campus is not like Google. It does not automatically save. So everything I do on IC, I hit save. So I'm clicking save right now. So you can see it's saving this assignment. And I'm going to show you my favorite way to grade. There's two ways. I can either close it or score it. When I have multiple standards, I score it. When I have one standard, I close it. Okay, so it's saved. It told me it was saved, and I'm closing. So now give it a minute, and that is going to pop up. There it is. So there is our assignment. So again, if I am not under the right standard, it's not going to show. Let me show you. So I'm going to be on a different standard. That grade is not there. I got to make sure that it's in the standard that I've placed it. So that's another little error user that we have sometimes. Now my students are alphabetical order. So if I've done my grading and I notice this sunlight's making me go in and out, sorry. I've done my grading, and so then I can literally just go down and give them a grade. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2, 2. I'm gonna just go all the way down. I will delete this for Miss Murphy so she doesn't have to, I miss one. How do I miss one? 3, 2, 2, 2, 3. So I'm just going through their papers. I'm inputting those grades. 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1. Right? And I'm just making this completely up right now. So I have them all in. Now again, not Google. I have to come over here and I have to hit save. So I click save, and now those grades are in there. You can see nothing has rolled up. Not until I get to the second or third. It may be second, but I always say do 3 for sure. So I'm going to do another assignment this time where it has more than one standard so I can show you that. That's it. The grade's in there. End of the quarter, I have 3 grades, everything rolled up. This post-it is going to turn red. I'm going to hit post. It's all going to roll up. It literally happens in seconds. The other nice thing is I can always override things before I hit save, especially when I'm posting grades for report card. So if it rolled up and it gave Nayeli here a 3, but I knew, like, you know what? She's not really a 3. She's really a 2. I can override that and again hit save. Or other way around. She's a 2 because of couple small errors, but I know in my heart of hearts she's really proficient in that standard. I can always override it report card wise or even after I input it. Okay, and then I just hit save again. All right, so let's do this again with something that has 2 or more standards. So I'm doing another activity, another assignment. So I'm going to hit add. This time I am going to grade them on writing and the summary. Okay, so I am going to go summary and grammar. And then if it's not, you can abbreviate it anything you want if you're not using ReadyGen lessons. But again, I'm going to go 1, module A. This was lesson 3. And so even though it's a summary, I'm going to keep it under that same. It's pretty close because in the summary, I'm talking about settings and events and the details. So I'm going to leave it there. But I want to add one. I'm going to add a grammar one. So I'm going to come all the way down to writing. Okay. And I want to conventions. Here they are. So demonstrates the command of English language grammar when writing and speaking. So that is what I'm looking for this time. I've already told my kids that. I've made that clear in the rubrics or in my instructions. So those are the 2 things that I'm grading. And I'm going to come down because, again, I'm not in Google. What am I doing? Hitting save. So I'm saving that assignment. Always, always, always just get in the habit. Some of it might save automatically, but we're not going to take a chance. This time I have 2 grades. Now I could do the same thing I did last time, but then I could toggle between the 2 standards, or I'm going to show you the other way, which is score. So I'm going to click score. And now I have all my students. Okay, so it looks a little different. I have my first standard and I have my second standard. Same idea. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to come here, sorry, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come down, 3, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to come over here as well. Let's say everybody, there was nobody except for 2 kids that got their conventions up to 4th grade proficiency. So I'm going to go to fill all. You can also do that on the other page as well, and I can show you that in a second. And then I'm going to come down. There was just 2 of them. There was this one, and then there was this one. So I'm just going to change the outliers, and I'm going to fill all for that. And then I am going to hit save. Okay, and so that information is going to go in there. And now I'm going to hit close. And so everything's in there, so I'm going to hit close. And let's give it a minute. And then there we go. So everything is all in there. So I was telling you we can also do a fill all here as well. When I was in this standard and I want to fill all, I'm going to be honest, I'm forgetting where it is, and I know I used it before and it's not here. So close. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was just in that one. If someone knows, your wind trainer may know, and they can share out as well. So that is a quick rundown of what Google Classroom looks. And as you can see, as we're starting to get an overall trend, and we only had 2 grades in there. But again, I would go 3 for the most accurate. Then everything just keeps rolling up, and you're just going to continue to hit post. So when we come up to that parent standard, let's see if it's there yet. It is. So they're starting to roll up the grades. And again, I'm going to hit post. It's going to go to my report card. As long as I hit post and save, it will go right to the report card. So that was a quick overview. My suggestion is to do it one at a time and then play with it a little bit. There's also lots of reports that you can run from here. You can put in missing work. Oh, there's one I forgot to show. So if I come down, let's come back to that same standard. And let's come in and we're going to edit this one. And I don't know why I just went back in there. I don't need to go into it. Close. As you can see, I didn't finish grading them. So let's say as long as you hit save, I can come back at any point and continue to add. So now we're going to add. So I get to, I'm sorry, my computer is being slow. The internet is so slow today. I have lots of abbreviations. The one that I used the most was M for missing or X for excuse. So let's say Jocelyn didn't do it. I am just going to type M or come over here and click M. Never mind, I need to click it. M. Here's the fill all. I knew there was a fill all. So I've clicked M, it has a little thing here, and I can hover over, you can see missing. So to get to what I just did, because I kind of just went fast, let me do that again. So I want to come in and I want to give some kids missing and I want to give some kids excuse. Let's say we did a science experiment, there's no way they can make up that science experiment. I'm just going to excuse them out of it to make it easier. This little arrow here opens it up. Here also is where if the fill all. So this is what I was saying when I was going down. If everybody was 2s or everybody was 3s, I can do a fill all here as well. And then here this is like tardy, late. You can use all those and then you can run ports to see who was late or not. I didn't get into that much detail when I used it. The 2 that I've used, like I said, missing, and then I would run a missing report, and then excused. And again, I would just come here, I would hit excused. So it's going to toggle them. It's going to be gray. So I know that I'm not going back and looking for that child's work because it's grayed out. I've excused them for whatever reason. So, and then here's missing. So again, we need to hit save because this is new. I've done more work, and then we close it up. and then we can run reports. And the reports can be run from down here. And here's all my flagged assignments. That's where I'm going to run the report for missing work. So just a little, again, some more questions, and there's definitely more to this, but those are the basics that will get you up and going. Run my video, do a little bit, run some more, and then next week when things aren't as crazy, we'll probably schedule a question and answer on Infinite Campus Gradebook. Hopefully this was helpful. You have local wind trainers in every building, so you are more than welcome to ask your wind trainer for more information, or always shoot a text or a email out to me, dbuckus@wps60.org.